What value do young people bring to the room in professional settings? Now, this is a question I've seen a lot on LinkedIn. I've seen a lot of different discussions about it, and some of it I don't really agree with. I wanted to go over what I actually think young people do and what they can help with, especially with internships, young professionals just getting into the office, and things like that. Hi, my name's Jacob, and this is 2 for 2. So the first thing is, I think young people bring in a brand new, fresh perspective. Sometimes life in the workplace can be very stale, and having somebody with a brand new opinion, with a completely different mindset, a different set of life experiences, it can bring in a brand new way of looking at things. It's the same reason why having a diverse workplace has different types of ideas being thrown around. For example, if you're designing or working or trying to sell a product, if a large percentage of those people are going to be using that product are millennials and Gen Z and millennials should have a fair say in how it's designed for them, because you totally know them best. The other thing I want to talk about is motivation. If you share your opinions and you get in dialogue with people that are a little bit older than you or much older than you can start learning about what motivated them to go into their field, what motivated them to go into this company. And you'll learn the story, their story, and you get to share your story. Whether it's compelling or not, you get to learn so much about the context behind your workplace and the history of why it's important to other people around you. And that'll shape your opinion as you go forward, and it'll give you more substance to lean on in terms of why you want to stay at that company or why you want to leave it that company, and what motivates you to continue to do good work in that field. And you get to see how things are different or similar over time. Nowadays, things can be kind of taken for granted, so it puts a lot of things in perspective. What were the focuses back then? What problems have already been solved? Where are we heading? You'll learn a lot of these things by talking with these people who have so much rich experience in that field. So the other thing is, you get to bring in a brand new aggregate data set of thoughts and viewpoints of people your age. You're an example of the opinions of people around you at the school you go to. For example, I go to UT Austin, and in the ECE curriculum, I have an idea of the general sentiment that people have towards certain companies. When you graduate, it's kind of fixed into that setting. And so the people that are currently working at these companies have opinions that might be slightly outdated. So for example, when I was an intern at Microsoft, somebody thought that students didn't really see Microsoft as a top tier company because when they graduated at the time, maybe it was during something like the Windows 8 launch, or it was a time when the Microsoft stock was down. But nowadays, Microsoft is doing great and things are really different. And so at UT Austin, the perception of Microsoft, it is a top tier company. It is a company you really want to work at. And I knew that. And communicating that to somebody who didn't know this updated viewpoint of the company, it kind of reshaped their world in that brief moment, and it made them happy. Whether it's an improvement or something's gone down or things have just changed, giving your perspective of the people around you at the school you go to, the people your age, is something really refreshing, something that they want to hear. So back when I was working at American Airlines, I was just a guest participant in this room as an intern, but I could still help out with the cultural activities. And so you might be asking, how in the world can an intern help with the culture? They don't really know. They haven't been there for years. They've only been there for a few months, maybe a summer, things like that. The thing is, if you're in the same thing every single day, all the time, sometimes it's easy to take certain cultural values as things that are expected, things that you're very used to every single day. But somebody coming in with a brand new perspective might be able to see the stuff that are problematic immediately. It might be able to stand out to them. To younger people, if they're used to certain ways of working, maybe they can point those things out. And so pointing those things out in the cultural meetings, pointing out suggestions, that can only help people because it might either pinpoint something or it might be wrong, and you'll learn from it. You know, if it's obvious to you, it might mean something about the severity of the problem. It's the same reason why if you're reading over your writing over and over again and you're trying to edit it, you might be looking over a lot of grammatical issues because it's your work. You get to learn people's stories by sharing your own opinions, by talking to people and setting up those lunches, talking to people outside of your immediate network, your immediate team. You get to ask stuff that no one else has asked them in probably years. These people get to go back in time and share those experiences and talk to you in ways that they probably don't get to talk about a lot. You're young, you have that energy. You can say those questions that nobody else is asking. So instead of trying to be older than you are, try to be your own age. Talk about the things that make you excited, questions about what makes them excited. Ask them those young type questions because they don't get a lot of that. Participate and be who you are. You know, when you're learning their story, don't try to pump up their ego or just make them feel good. That's kind of disingenuous. What I'd say instead is if they're talking about things that they've done and it is really impressive, don't be afraid to be inspired by that. If you want to be that person, if you want to reach those same types of goals, take them as somebody you want to follow. Take those as lessons of what you can do in your own life to do better. There's nothing wrong with appreciating the achievements that they've done, and if anything, it can put in perspective what you've done in the years that you've had and what you can do next. The final thing is, it's okay to be wrong. You can totally be wrong. Just be wrong. Say your stuff. Make your opinion be known. be wrong about things because you're young. If you're an intern, if you're a new hire, you need to make those mistakes now. I loved making mistakes when I was in my internship. Actually, at the time it hurt, and sometimes I felt like I was speaking when maybe I shouldn't have. But the thing is, if you do that now, you can learn about those cultures. You can make mistakes there when you're still young and the springboard is big, the net is big. You can make a lot of mistakes. People understand that you're young. You're still a student. You just got hired, right? So make those mistakes now. Say all those things now. Make your opinions be known so in the future you know way better because you've kind of tested the water. You made those pokes. That's not something that everybody does. It's better to be wrong now, and as you get older, you edit that type of thinking and you just become a better version of yourself. You become wiser, and you become somebody who's talked to different types of people and shared their opinion and communicated the things that they care about in ways that they understand. So I hope you enjoyed this video. This was 2 for 2.